Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. If you guys know me, you know that I'm very passionate about DNFing books. I have a whole video on it and I also have a shelf dedicated in my Goodreads of books that I've DNF'd, which is actually not a lot of books. In this video I wanted to give books that I DNF'd another try to see whether or not my thoughts on these books are still the same, and who knows, I may end up really loving some of them. The first book that I'm going to be reading is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I started reading this book in the beginning of the year, last year to be exact, and then I tried again to read it, and I don't know, it was so hard for me to read. I listened to the audiobook, that kind of got me through the book a lot, but when I tried reading it on my Kindle, it was a struggle. And I read 65% into it, so I read quite a lot of it, but I just couldn't get past that, so maybe taking a break will make it easier to read. I don't know, people have said that it's a really good book, but so far I found it really boring. The plot was just very slow. There were different plot points, I guess, but it felt like it was leading nowhere and it wasn't exciting. So I'm hoping that giving this book another try, it will get somewhere. I am interested to read the ending because there's a lot of theories surrounding it. You know, this book wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I'm definitely reading it faster than I was before. However, I'm still bored because the plot is not super interesting. It's so slow and it's nothing that catches my attention, and because of that, I kind of have no motivation to read it. But it is easier to read than it was last time. Last time I was struggling. Like, it was very bad. This time I think I can get through it because there's not that much left, and apparently I have an hour and like 20 something minutes to read left, which doesn't make me feel better because I have 20% left, so I'm kind of like, why is it so long? But I think I can get through it. I think I can finish the book. I literally have only read like 2% of this book and I'm already struggling. I'm bored. I will try. I can do it. I can definitely do it. Oh, they mentioned Katniss. Hey, you found some Katniss. My thoughts on this book has literally remained consistent throughout it. I was really struggling while reading it. I had no motivation, which I think you could tell. My main issue with the book was that even though that there was a lot going on, it was just so boring to read and I felt like it wasn't leading anywhere. The ending was pretty interesting, that last 5%, but in the end it didn't give me a good conclusion, especially when you lead to the Hunger Games. There's still a lot of mystery surrounding that, and I know that's what's supposed to happen, but it does not leave my little heart satisfied, okay? And for me, it's like, was this book really worth reading? I also wasn't super connected to the characters. I know Helena's not supposed to be a good character. We are not supposed to empathize with him. However, with Lucy as well and their romance, I just didn't really understand. They didn't have any chemistry, but the whole entire time I was thinking as well that Lucy is a smart cookie, okay? What if the whole entire time she was just manipulating Coriolanus, pretending that she's in love with him, making him fall in love with her so that he would be convinced to help her during the Hunger Games and to do anything he can to save her. I don't know if that's an actual thing or if it's just something that I thought while reading the book, but obviously her running away at the end of the book, I feel like is a clear indication that she never really completely trusted him and she wasn't blinded by her love. I started reading Illuminae by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, which this is like a sci-fi books, and I've read their past books before which are also sci-fi, so there are authors that I kind of trust. A lot of people in the past have been raving about this book, and when I try to pick it up, I think it kind of confused me because this isn't written like a normal book. It has a lot of multimedia, for example interviews, files, they have like chats, they even have photos of people, which kind of creeped me out. Where did they get all these photos? I have not read that far into it and I'm still kind of struggling to understand what this book is about, which I think is because of the mixed media. It's just hard to kind of assemble everything together, which could be the purpose of this book, especially because as of right now, they don't even know what's going on. So what if I said that I'm gonna DNF Illuminate? I did read a little bit of this book today. I read I think 5%, and it was only to reach a certain mark of this book just to make myself feel a little bit better. But while reading it the whole entire time, I looked at the percentage bar, and as that rose, but I wasn't super into the book, and I feel like that's the reason why I'm going to DNF it. The main issue that I have with this book is actually because of the way that it is written. There are so many characters in this book, but the thing is, I don't even know who these characters are. We have different names that are mentioned. They are just brought in and then like tossed out. The only two characters that I know are the main characters, which is Caddy and Ezra, and I also don't understand them because we are looking through them from a very distant, disconnected point of view. We are only reading about their thoughts or their experiences through text messages and like journals, and that doesn't really give too much. The writing also makes the plot very messy. Maybe it will get better later on, but I think for now, I just don't really want to read it. The next book that I'm going to be reading is it called Legacy? What is this book actually called? Legendborn. I think it's Legendborn. Let me check. Yes, Legendborn. I thought it was a different title. This book has been super popular in book talk recently. It has risen the hype. A lot of people really like it. I remember trying to read it because I borrowed the book from the library, and I remember talking to my mom and being like, you know what, I don't really like this book. I'm gonna DNF it. Should I DNF it? Yeah, I'm gonna DNF it. And that was during a time where I did not like DNFing books, so this was a big thing for me. But what I remember is that it was a King Arthur's retelling, and I think the reason why I DNF'd it was something about the characters and the way that they were written. I'm pretty sure it was not the main character. I think it was this other side character that I was like, I don't really like him, which I don't know if that's a good reason to DNF a book, but we'll see, because a lot of people have said really good things about it, and I'm very much hoping that I will enjoy it. It is a pretty thick book though, which may have been another factor in why I gave up reading the book super quick. Jokes on me, I actually did not end up DNFing Illuminated. Now I'm in pain. Maybe I should have DNF'd it so that it would prevent me from suffering. This is set in space, right? So it's 3 spaceships, and there is a virus that is spreading around, and obviously it's horrible in a spaceship. Like, that's the most terrible place for a virus to spread. And I don't really know how to explain this virus. I feel like it's some sort of zombie kind of thing. You go crazy and you basically go around killing people, and obviously through that you spread the virus. And it's so painful because we get introduced to so many characters through, you know, the different text messages, and basically all of them die. That is a spoiler, but just let it be known if you go into this book. Expect sadness and pain. Look, I'm almost finished reading this book, but now there's this whole plot twist that is revealed, which I felt like I should have known, but it really caught me off guard, and now I don't even know how to function anymore. reason why I decided to continue on with this book was because I read ahead to the ending and I was very curious how they got there, so I decided to finish the book. And honestly, I'm really happy that I did because it was so good. I don't really know what I was thinking when I first started reading the book, but I would say after the halfway point it definitely got a lot better. It was just a very fast read, but at the same time the ending was so good, the plot twists and the different things that were revealed, and I think because of the way that it was written as well just made it a lot better. So don't listen to what I said, okay? Read this book, it's really good. I feel like it also does pull at your heartstrings a little bit, especially with the things that happened. So this time I'm actually going to start reading 𝐦𝐮𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐻, which I'm very excited to read, but I'm also kind of scared. I actually read more of this book than I remembered the first time around of reading it. I read more than 100 pages, which I literally thought I only read a few pages, but to be honest, I'm not really enjoying the book so far. I am going to give it a chance because if what Illuminate told me is that, who knows, I may end up liking this book. But I feel like the issue I have with this book is the issue that I had the first time around of reading it, and it's the characters. I don't really like the voice of our main character Brie. I understand that she's going through a lot of grief, but I feel like her voice sounds very immature and whiny, and she's very reckless because she just loves running in danger. I also think that it's really easy for her to get into things. Like, I don't know, she easily infiltrates a secret society and no one bats an eye. Like, come on, for a secret society you would think that maybe she's a little bit suspicious because she doesn't know anything. I don't know, no one questions. They're all like, she's in here, that's cool. I also don't like the setup of the romance. Look, I barely have read anything, though I'm not really into the romance part, but the two guys who I assume are her love interests, when she first meets them, she talks about feeling the zen, basically having like the energy and the excitement thingamajiggy, and I'm like, please come on, is there not a better way to set up the romance than just saying I feel energy between us? Because obviously there's a difference between her like talking to them and her talking to other guys that she meets within the society. So I can tell already that there is something going on. This is also such a nitpicky thing, but it kind of annoys me how everyone in this book has a nickname. Like, come on. There's this girl, her name is Sarah. Literally, Sarah. 2 syllables, Sarah. Her nickname is Sar. You don't need a nickname, Sarah. Your name is already really short. I officially decided to DNF 𝐸𝐮𝐬𝐻. I did read more of it and I really tried to read it, but I'm just not into it. A big part of it is the characters, not even just the main character. I don't like any of the characters, and we get introduced to a lot of them and I'm just confused on who they are or what their position is. Even the whole like squire, scion, or whatever it's pronounced thing, I don't understand which characters are connected to which, because the whole process is so complicated. I don't even know what's going on. I don't like 𝐸𝐬𝐬𝐻, or however you pronounce his name. He's just so angry, and why does he literally straight up bully Brie? I barely even have seen him in the book, but I feel like he just has too much anger issues and he's literally so rude. So I don't know how I'm supposed to root for this guy. Nick as well, I feel like he's just this poster white rich man, not the most interesting character. And like I mentioned before, Brie does kind of annoy me, and I feel like after reading it a little bit more, it has increased. Another issue I have with this book is the info dumping. We get introduced to the whole like magical system, the King Arthur kind of thing, which I find the plot very interesting. However, I just don't understand what's going on. Why are there so many words, squire, pages? I don't understand the hierarchy, and again, so many characters that are introduced, and I don't know who the characters are besides the important one and what they're supposed to do for this story. This book is also pretty thick, so I don't really want to waste my time reading it, but that's basically it for today's video. I am glad that I did this. I'm glad that I gave some books that I DNF'd another try, because I did find a book that I really liked.